Hello everyone. Welcome to the webinar on Introduction to Therapeutic Diet, which is being organized by the Chanakya Institute of Education and Skill Development. Myself, Nandini Goyal, and we'll be focusing today and we'll be talking about the therapeutic diet today. I will be focusing on to understand what is therapeutic diet and what are the prevalent diseases which are present in India, the nutritional deficiency disorders, and why do we need to study therapeutic diet. Also about the types of the therapeutic diet. Starting with the definition part, with this diagram, as you can see, nutrition being the main focus which we get from the nutrients which are available in the food. So the definition will be for the food any consumable, palatable and the nutritional entity that provides energy for our body and the metabolic activities. It also includes water. Nutrients, these are the substances which are present in the food and which when we intake regulates the chemical processes and helps in the repair and the growth. Coming on to the nutrition which influences the health. So now the question arises, what is therapeutic diet? We know already about the food. Therapeutic diet or therapeutic nutrition is the qualitative or the quantitative modified version of the basic nutrients diet, which has been tailored to suit the changing nutritional needs of the patient or disease condition. In this, we are not making any diet chart or any diet plan. We are just making the changes or the modification, or you can call the amendments of the basic nutritious diet or your regular diet. So, with this, the question arises, what is clinical nutrition and therapeutic nutrition? See, these two are different terms. Clinical nutrition is the one where a professional, a dietitian, makes a regular meal chart for you, a plan for a diseased condition or a person or a patient. But in therapeutic nutrition, we just change the basic nutritious diet. We are not creating any plan. We are not going with the calories, but we are making small changes in our nutrition as per our condition. So, talking about the disease which are present in India, as you can see it from the graph, cardiovascular disease are accounting for more than 13% of the total population. And there are many more disorders which are occurring. Why is it so? Have you ever thought about it? It is just because of the sedentary lifestyle that we are living, and we are not taking care of the nutrition. Though a human body is already made up of 80% of the nutritious diet that you take, it has a lot of impact on the body. The deficiency disease. Iron deficiency is the most prevalent one among the Indian girls, the women. As you can see from the data that 50% out of 200 girls were anemic. Vitamin D deficiency that causes rickets. It is also prevalent. Iodine deficiency and vitamin C deficiency. So now I will be focusing upon the nutritional deficiency disorders that can usually occur in your body if you are not taking adequate amount of the nutrition. The carbohydrate deficiency can cause ketosis. Protein deficiency cause kwashiorkor problem, kwashiorkor disease, edema. Fats, they can cause eczema and hair loss. There are various vitamins which, as you know, are fat soluble and water soluble. The fat solubles being are vitamin A, D, E, and K. Vitamin E deficiency can cause night blindness, xerophthalmia, and Also, there is a toxicity. Excess of everything is bad. So, if you take the vitamins or minerals in the amount more than exceeding the RDA, it can cause any hypervitaminosis or toxicity in your body. As you can see, vitamin A can cause fatigue, headache, hyperpigmentation, hypercalcemia. Coming on to the vitamin D, it causes rickets. But if taken in excess amount, it can also cause high blood calcium. That is also known as hypercalcemia, retarded growth, and nephron calcinosis. Vitamin E, that is also very well known as anti-sterility hormone, can cause hemolytic anemia. Vitamin K can cause the prolonged bleeding and prothrombin time. Talking about the vitamin C, the water soluble one, vitamin C is very well known for the scurvy problem, and the excess of vitamin C can also cause kidney stones. Vitamin B12, commonly known as cobalamin, cyanocobalamin, causes pernicious anemia. Folacin causes megaloblastic anemia. Pyridoxine, vitamin B6, can cause microcytic anemia conversions. Thiamine, B1, causes beriberi. Riboflavin, B2, that can cause chlosis. Calcium deficiency can also lead to rickets. Iron deficiency, as you all know, it is a very known deficiency known as anemia. And sodium can cause nausea, cramps. With these deficiencies, you can also find out the source of from where we can get, or these products are rich in the nutrient that is mentioned. Now the question arises, we know what food is, we know what is a therapeutic diet, and what are the disease prevalence in India. So why do we need to study therapeutic diet, what it can do? As mentioned here, it can help to maintain or restore nutritional status, to correct nutritional status, or like it can help you increase or decrease your weight, to balance the amount of carbohydrates, as in the condition of diabetes, or to increase the amount of a nutrient like protein. If you are suffering from hypertension, you need to take sodium in decreased amounts. Also, there are few people who are very prone to food allergies or have food intolerance. For those also, therapeutic diet helps. What are the dietary modification which you should do in your regular diet? So these are the type of the dietary modification which is usually done. The regular diet is the normal diet that you take. Liquid diet, soft diet, diabetic diet for a person suffering from diabetes mellitus, low calorie diet, high calorie diet, low cholesterol, fat restricted, sodium restricted, and protein, which can be a bland taste with no spices and low residue. So, what are the nutritional modifications? There is another classification which is based on what type of modification that you are introducing in a food. In nutrient modification, there is several types of diet. We will be talking about them in detail in the coming slides. So, the nutritional modification, basically the nutrient are carbohydrate, fats, proteins, As per them, we have six classes like no concentrated sweet diet, diabetic diet, no added salt diet, low sodium diet, low fat diet, and high fiber diet. In texture modification, what we are basically doing is to ease the swallowing and the chewing of the food, so that the person doesn't feel any difficulty while eating the food. So we just modify the texture by mechanical stress or shearing or chopping off or making a puree of it. So these are of two types: mechanical soft diet and puree diet. Food allergy or food intolerance modification, where a person is suffering from a food allergy. In specific, if I talk, a very common example is of gluten diet that causes the celiac disease, or you are very well known with the celiac disease, where the gluten is uh, interfering with the intestinal villi and the person becomes allergic and shows the symptoms for the gluten intake. Food intolerance, it is more or less the genetic one, as the very common one is lactose intolerance. Then the tube feedings, if the person is not able to eat anything, or that person cannot take anything from from his or her mouth, then there we introduce the tube feedings, where the liquid tube feeding can feed the whole meal, or it can be done with the addition to the meal. Additional feedings can also be there, where we are giving the extra nutrition, which can be ordered as like supplements, which are where you provide the liquid nutritional shakes or any other between the meals or with meals. Nourishment is basically the snack food or beverage items which can be given between the meals, that may be mid morning or mid afternoon. At a snack ordered as a snack food or beverage item to be given at the hour of sleep. Why are we making modification in any diet? To ease or release the stress on any organ, or to maintain the nutritional balance, or to maintain any hormonal level, or to ease the difficulty of a person to eat. So accordingly, nutrient modification diet includes no concentrated sweet diet, where we are taking control of the sugar level that we are taking with the food. So in order to control the blood sugar level and the weight, the regular food is given without the addition of the sugar. In diabetic and calorie control diet, we have to take in account the total calories intake that can be provided by the carbohydrate, protein, fat, which in which in turn controls the blood sugar level and controls your weight. No added salt diet is a regular diet with no salt additions or no seasonings. Low sodium diet is also called as 2-gram sodium diet, where you can feed the patient with salt but not too much, like limited salt and salty food. Also, as you know, the salt helps in retaining water in the body, which causes swelling, is known as edema. So the person with the high blood sugar, high blood pressure, heart disease, liver disease, or first stage of kidney disease are having this tendency to hold water in their body. So we should feed a low sodium diet to those patients. Talking about the low fat, low cholesterol diet, as the name indicates, that we are decreasing the level up to 50 grams, or we can say that no more than 30% of the calories could be derived from the fat. And this diet can be used for the patients who are suffering from the disease of liver, gallbladder, or pancreas. Obviously, the total fat or the low fat diet will be free or having low amount of total fats and saturated fats. As you know, saturated fats are no good to the body. Talking about the high fiber diet, we want to uh, treat a patient or a person or to prevent some disease which are related to gastrointestinal, cardiovascular, and metabolic disease. So here we just give add the increased fiber which can be the from the sources, various sources, including fruits, legumes, vegetables, whole grain cereals. Now the texture modification. Basically, why we are doing the texture modification, as I explained you earlier, so that the person is not feeling any kind of difficulty in chewing or intake of the food or the swallowing of the food. So what we are doing in mechanically altered or soft diets, we are just providing the regular diet with the softer texture, like include which includes that if you are providing a person with the meat or raw fruits and vegetables, you can chop them up. So, and the puree diet is you are converting the fruits and the vegetables into a puree, liquid with the liquid consistency which can pass through a straw. So the person who are having difficulty while chewing or swallowing, so they can eat that food. Obviously, you will avoid nuts, seeds. Coming on to the liquid diet. Liquid diet is of two types, clear liquid diet and a full liquid diet. In clear liquid diet, the TSS, or you can say there is the minimum residue fluids which can be seen through. Examples are juices without pulp, broth, and etc. It also includes your fluid and the electrolytes which are given while a person is suffering from the diarrhea, but they cannot be used for the extended periods as they do not provide enough calories and the nutrients. In a full liquid diet, these fluids are basically somewhat creamy. And if I talk about the examples, then they could be ice cream, thinned oat cereal, custard, etc. It can be used only after a person is tolerable for the clear liquid diet. And also, it cannot be used for the extended periods. Now, there are two situations, food allergy and food intolerance. What is food allergy? It is in basically the abnormal immune response to an otherwise harmless food, like the gluten in the wheat. It is otherwise harmless, but few people have difficulty in digesting the gluten. So these, what should we do? These are to be strictly eliminated from the diet. Most common food allergens, as you know, are tree nuts, fish, shellfish, soy, wheat. So what should be done for a celiac diseased person? A gluten-free diet will do the good for that person. So we can replace the wheat, rye and barley with the potato, corn and rice products. Coming on to the food intolerance diet. Food intolerance is basically when there is an deficiency of an enzyme or a protein in the body which cannot catalyze the product or the sugar. In the lactose intolerant people, there is an deficiency of the lactase enzyme and they cannot digest the lactose. So what should be done? They just have to be given the diet which is free from lactose, and these products falls under FSMP, that is food for special medical purpose. Now, the tube feeding. Tube feeding is for those people who cannot take adequate amount of food or fluids by mouth, and their all nutritional needs are to be met through tube feedings. So with this, I'm ending this webinar. I hope you liked it. And moreover, if you want any answers or you have some questions, you can please read the description of this video. Also to mention that you have to attend the quiz along with the feedback form, only then you will be able to get any certificate. So thank you.